Hey there, Janae with Palin Projects here, and in this week's video I am going to be planting up our vegetables for the year. So I thought I'd walk you guys through what I'm going to be planting this week, because there's a lot to go through, or a lot that I'm planting. So I have pre-filled 6 trays with dirt so far. I'm hoping that's going to be enough for what I have here. If it's not, we might have to go and find some trays. But to begin with, I'm going to be starting my onions. So this is a Texas 502 onion, a yellow onion. These are 170 days to harvest. This is a red onion, and I believe it's 100 days to harvest. And then a sweet Spanish yellow jumbo. I think I read on here, yeah. These get to 2 pounds, or almost 2 pounds. So this will be interesting to grow, and it says it's 115 days till harvest. So with all of these packets, I have, dropped it, drawn out my seed markers, so I know exactly where I'm planting each seed. But so I have those already pre-done. I'm going to be starting my Brussels sprouts, my broccolis, both varieties, jalapenos, and my pepperoncinis. So something I learned with peppers, because I'm also doing my sweet peppers today too. Something I learned with my peppers is that you really shouldn't put them out until you know that your lows for the day, so your nighttime temperatures, are above 50 degrees. So that'll be a little bit of time for us. But I'm willing to start them and get them a head start. Cabbages, Copenhagen Market, and the late flat Dutch. 10 to 15 pound heads on this one, so these are pretty good size. And this is an early season variety, so we can start. Some of these, I kind of want to succession plan these, so I'm going to leave, I might leave a row blank, or I'll wait until a seed tray opens. But I want to try some of these and then some of the early ones, just so that, we're growing the same kind at the same time. Some seeds I had from last year are the Romas and the beefsteaks. Roma's beefsteaks. So I'm going to try a different planting method with these ones, because they are a little bit older of seeds. I watched on another video where you can mass plant tomatoes and then tease them apart, and that tomatoes are fairly forgiving. So I kind of want to do it with these, because they're older seed varieties, or seeds that I bought a couple years ago, and I'm not as hurt if it doesn't work with those. So I'm going to try the new planting with these guys, and then I'm going to start my orange accordion pork chop. I'm excited for the pork chops. I'm very excited. Very excited for those. Black cherries and the black Tula. Old German. I bought a new seed packet of the beefsteaks, because I really like the beefsteaks for BLTs and slicing tomatoes. Yellow pears and red cherries, and then the last cherry is the green cherry. Green grape is what it's officially called. But like I said before, all of my markers are already marked and put together, so I kind of have them in the piles that I showed them to you guys in. But let's go to starting some seeds. This is the alternative way that I'm going to be trying seeds for a couple packets. My onions for sure, and then the 2 other varieties of tomatoes. I am using for these, and then my other ones that I've already pre-filled, I'm using a Pro Mix. You can get it from Walmart, and it comes in a bale. And I promise you, the bale's this big by oh, you can't see me. But it's I don't know, 1.5 feet tall by 2 feet wide, and it does, well, when you open up the bale, it expands to almost 2 cubic feet worth of potting soil. So it's nice and light and fluffy, and that's what I'm going to be starting my seeds in today. I just opened the bale into a Rubbermaid container, pre-moistened it, and then the extra soil will just live in that Rubbermaid until I'm done with everything. But I'm using these containers. I figured it would be kind of easier for the onions, and then, like I said, I wanted to try the tomatoes out, because if I can do something like this for tomatoes and mass plant them and then take them out and tease them apart and put them into, repot them into their own little containers, then that might either eliminate a step for me, or it might be a giant mess. We'll see. So let's get into it. First, like I said, I'm going to start by putting my markers in, just so I know where each variety is at. And then I'm going to plant. On the back of your seed packets, it should tell you the planting depth. For these onions, it says 1/2 to 1/4. The newer ones say 1/2. This old variety says 1/4 to 1/2. So how I measure is the length of my nail bed. So that's about 1/2 inch. So 1/4 is about half of that. And then I think I have one set of seeds in here that go 1/8 of an inch. So it's about the size of the bottom part of my nail, or the outer portion of my nail. So that's kind of how I measure it, but I didn't fill these all the way up because I want to sprinkle them in kind of thickly, and then I'll put fill dirt over the top. So let's go with it. There's the onion seeds. They're fairly big. I'm a little impressed. I'm not used to that big of a seed, but I'm just going to sprinkle them in here and call it good. Next one, Utah Jumbo. The Utah Jumbos are just the same. Okay. Here's the yellow hybrid. These are a little bit smaller of seeds. Those Utah Jumbos, those are the ones that are supposed to get 2 pounds, so that'll be kind of fun to see. And lastly are my red onions. So even if these onions don't come up, I'll go to the store and I'll pick up some sets. I think I told you guys in past videos, there were a lot more seeds in that red. That's crazy. So that's the red onion. I've never been very successful with onion seeds, or growing onion from seed. So this is definitely an experiment for me. But we'll see how it goes. I feel like I'm going to be fairly confident in this. So onions are done. Let's move on to the tomatoes. So first tomato that I'm going to start with is the beefsteak. If I can get the old package open. So there's the beefsteak tomato. It kind of blends in with my hand a little bit, so they're right in there. And I'm going to sprinkle them right here. Okay. And then the Romas. There's the Roma seeds. Pretty standard for tomato seeds. So again, I used all the seeds in the packet for both of those tomatoes because this is an experiment. I want to see, and they're fairly old seeds too, so I'm not sure on the germination rate, but I wanted to see, you know, how much I could get to germinate, and then if this process really does work. So next up, since these need to be covered, I'll go get the Pro Mix and cover them up. since these don't have domes, I am going to put saran wrap on them and then put them under my LED grow lights. I call them LED grow lights because they are just regular LED shop lights. They are not technically grow lights, but I find that they work just fine. So I'll just go and put them in my seed starting area and under those LED lights, and we'll see how it goes. One thing to note with these bins, they are not, or I did not drill holes in them, so I cannot bottom water, which is fine because I had this tray that has holes in it. I don't have a lot of the solid trays left, and so I decided to not put holes in the bottom of these, and I'll just watch them very closely. I'll spray them with a sprayer just to keep them moist, and then just monitor their water level as they grow so that they don't get overwatered or underwatered. It'll be an experiment as well because they will be overhead watered. I think the majority of stuff likes to be bottom watered, which I understand, but this just kind of worked best for our scenario. So 1 tray down, 5 more to go. Let's get into it. Next up, brassicas. So I think I'm gonna start out with cabbages, and then we'll go to broccolis and Brussels sprouts. I will not be using full containers or full seed packets other than like maybe this one because this is an old seed packet along with the Brussels sprouts. We'll see. I didn't have a lot. I had good luck with the broccoli last year and not so good of luck with the Brussels sprouts. So we'll see what we get planted, but I wanted to start with cabbage. We're going to do the Copenhagen market cabbage first. It's an early season variety. What it lacks in size, it makes up in flavor. They are perfect for roasts and stews. It's not overwhelming as some of the large cabbages. Great in homemade sauerkraut, coleslaw, steamed cabbage stew, and homemade egg rolls. We might have to try the homemade egg rolls. That sounds kind of delicious. So the planting depth is, I believe, a 1/2 inch on these. I don't see planting depth on the seed packet, but we'll go, anywhere between a 1/2 and a 1/4. These are little seeds, not a lot there. There's plenty left in the packet. I didn't pour the whole packet. It says there's approximately 300 seeds, and I don't need 300 cabbages. So we'll go about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. And we'll only do, this is a 72 count seed tray. I'm going to do 12 to begin with. And then, like I said, I'm going to succession plant cabbages so that I'm not overrun with cabbages when they mature. Because they will most likely mature all at the same time. And once a cabbage is done, it's done. So, I got 2 in that one. Okay, there we go. Ooh. Put those back in, seal it up. And then this was the Copenhagen cabbage. I'm gonna cover those little guys back up and tuck them all nice and tight into their new home. And put my tag right there so I don't forget where I planted, like I did last time. Round 1 of cabbages are done. Next one. Late Flat Dutch. Put my tag in. This grows 10 to 15 pound heads. The heads are massive and they will be ready for far later in the season than your earlier smaller cabbages. We just like to say good gardens come to those who wait. And this is no exception to that rule. Again, not a planting depth on the back of this seed packet, so I'm just going to go about a 1/2 to a 1/4 of an inch. Since these are later variety, I might go three rows on these guys. Just because I'm not quite sure what to expect. And if I have to give some away, I have to give some away. I'm not opposed to that. Okay, and then we'll tuck these guys in. Now, since these are in seed starting trays and the bottom tray is solid, I will bottom water these. So I'll just lift this up and pour water in the side here, and then it'll spread out and it'll wick up. Each of the trays will, or each of the cells will wick up the moisture for their seeds. Fill in a little bit. Those outside ones, they just need a little bit more. They don't get packed as tightly. Okay. Now, cabbages are done. I believe it is broccoli time. And Brussels sprouts. So, I'll probably do probably 3 rows of Brussels sprouts and then 4 rows of broccoli, since I have 2 different varieties of broccoli. So let's do that for broccoli, that for broccoli, and Brussels sprouts, that for Brussels sprouts. Okay. The back of the seed packet does say to sow them 1/4 inch deep. Cabbage-like flavor abounds from numerous tender small heads 1 to 2 inches across, which mature in succession on strong stalks, easy to pick, high in vitamin C and low in calories. So we actually didn't get to eat any of these last year. I planted a little too late. These all need cooler weather, and I planted my Brussels sprouts out probably mid-spring to late spring, and it got too hot. So I'm hoping to have better luck with Brussels sprouts this year. And maybe I won't be so nervous to put them out, seeing what happened last year. Okay. So this is older seed, so I'm going to try and do 2 seeds per cell. Just to make sure that my germination rate is there and I don't have any open cells. Sometimes I get more than 2, but that's okay. I'll try and thin these. You know, some people say thin them, so like when they say thin them, it means like pluck them out and not use them. I'm gonna try and let them go for as long as possible, and then I'll try and transplant them so that I can save them, or you know, try and save as many seedlings as possible. So you know, if all of these Brussels sprouts come up, what is that? 6 times 3, so 18. I'll have 36 Brussels sprouts if I can manage to separate and transplant successfully. And that's provided all of them come up, which I said, you know, these are older seeds, and so I'm not quite sure if all of them will come up, but that's best case scenario, is that I have 18 Brussels sprout seeds, and then again, I can share. Okay, so I do have 2 Waldheim 29 seed broccoli heads, or broccoli packets. I'm going to use the older variety first. This needs to be planted, or these need to be planted 1/2 inch deep. And let's read the packet on this one, maybe. It says a dependable flavor, large blue-green heads are 6 to 8 inches across. Have fantastic flavor, produces under frost. So we did eat a couple of these last year and they did pretty good. They weren't massive heads of broccoli that you get in the store. But I would say they were probably 6 inches across. And these were the same as the Brussels sprouts. I planted them out late and they do prefer a colder climate. So, these definitely did a lot better than the Brussels sprouts did. We actually got to harvest and eat some of these. So again, 1/2 inch deep for the broccoli. Just lightly pressing in there. Since this is older seed, again, I'm going to put 2 to a cell. And look at that, I have leftover seed. Broccoli is kind of fun. So Brussels sprouts is your one and done. Once they mature, it's kind of like cabbage. You pick the plant and then it's over and done with. Broccoli, it has a main shoot that comes up and it's a main head of broccoli. And if you clip that, then smaller ones will start producing if you leave the plant in the ground, which we did last year, and we did get a couple smaller heads of broccoli. So I probably won't succession plant broccoli. So the next one is the Calabrese broccoli, and it says it's a true winner in the garden. It's a large heading broccoli that is most commonly seen in supermarkets and farmers markets. The consistent large heads are reliable and effective on space. So it's exciting. These seed packets don't tell you how deep to plant them. I'm going to go with the other seed packet though and just say, a 1/2 inch. So make my little holes there. And then drop my seeds in. And some left over. A lot left over because there's 300 seeds in here. Look at all those seeds. Exciting. And tuck them away. There is my tray of brassicas. So we will put the dome on these guys and put them up in the seed starting room, just like the other tray. So I think the next we'll start on is peppers and then move to the tomatoes. Okay, so again, I have my 72 count seed tray. And as you can see, I already have my markers in. I chose to do 4 rows of pepperoncinis, 2 rows of jalapenos, 3 rows of sweet peppers, and 3 rows of yellow pear tomatoes because I did have extra space on this tray, so I decided to utilize everything. My thought process behind this, I want to pickle pepperoncinis, and then obviously this is probably going to be way more plants than what I'm going to use, so I can give away because I have some friends who like pepperoncinis as well and have expressed interest in my pepperoni plants. Jalapenos, I can pickle those, or I can use them in pickling, so I can do spicy pickles, or spicy stuff like that. So not a whole lot to do with jalapenos, but I do feel like 12 plants will be enough if I get 12 out of this. Sweet peppers, I can't eat bell peppers, but for some reason in the salsa or the relish that we make, I can eat them. So this is purely for fresh eating for friends and family who can eat them, and then for relish, because we want to do a lot of relish this year. We're completely out, which is unfortunate. And then I thoroughly enjoy yellow pear tomatoes for a snack. So I will be doing at least 18 yellow pear tomato plants, and last year I gave away probably half of my yellow pear tomato plants, and most likely that will be the case this year. I just like growing them. So I think most of these have the same planting depth. The sweet peppers, it says 1/4 of an inch. The pepperoncinis I'm going to assume are 1/4 of an inch. And the jalapenos are 1/4 of an inch as well. And then the yellow pear tomatoes are 1/4 of an inch. So everything's 1/4 of an inch to start with. The back of the yellow pear says clusters of 1.5 inch pear-shaped yellow fruits and indeterminate vines, delightfully sweet. I agree completely. These are fantastic. So I actually didn't get more seed this year, which is a little surprising. I hope I have enough. It'll be tight, but we'll see. So 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And then pour out. It does not look like we're going to have enough yellow pear seed. That's fine. We'll just rearrange in here a little bit. But there's the yellow pear seeds. I don't know if you can see them. They kind of blend in with my hand. Even though this is old seed, I'm going to put 1 per cell just to try and stretch the seed as far as possible. Yep, got 2 on that one. It happens. And it looks like I'm just going to have enough for maybe 2 rows. Yep. Let's put it in there. Okay, so let's cover those guys up. Put them to bed. Well, that's kind of a bummer, but that's okay. We'll just rearrange. Put the sweet peppers here, and we'll do 3 rows of jalapenos. So then and I'm just gonna make all of my holes right now because they all require 1/4 of an inch. We already checked that. Sound effects. Note the sound effects, they help. Not really, but that's okay. That's what I tell myself so that I can sleep at night. These are the older seeds. Garden favorite with mild, delicate flavor, great for stuffing and salads. I actually I grew a ton of these bell peppers last year, or at least plants. I started a bunch of plants. I actually didn't get any seed or any fruit from these plants, and that was because I didn't have my drip irrigation system set up. So we're going to try this again this year, and we're going to grow our pepper plants, and we're going to make sure that our drip system or our irrigation system is fully functioning and set up properly so that these don't fry and we actually get fruit for our labor, which would be fantastic. These are older seeds, so you can see that I am putting at least 2 seeds in each cell. And that's just to hopefully help the germination. Not so much germination as it is yielding of plants. So I'm hoping that each cell will get at least 1 plant. So that takes up the old seed, and I'm going to open up my new seed to fill out the rest. Same variety, same plants, it's just newer seed. And I'm going to plant 2 of the new seeds in each cell just in case that old seed doesn't come up. I can hopefully move some plants around, but let's cover those guys up, tuck them away. Okay, bell peppers are done. Now we'll move on to the jalapenos. I put tape on the back of my old seed packet so that it stays in. So this is a special early maturing strain, 3-inch, very hot fruits mature to red. Excellent for picking. These were also a product of no water last year. So I actually had beautiful plants. I was very impressed with myself with how pretty my plants were. I just put them out and they fried because they didn't have any water. And that is completely on me. Doesn't make me a bad gardener. I just didn't do it. Doesn't make me have a black thumb. I knew what to do. I know what to do. I know that plants need water. I just didn't get it done, which is unfortunate because they were beautiful. Beautiful, lovely, lovely plants that just died. So, it happens. Not something that we want to do though, so we're going to make sure that our irrigation is set up this year with hopefully our new beds in place. And these plants will actually have a chance to grow and produce some nice fruit for us. Fruits of our labor. I don't know why, but when I'm planting seeds, I always want to do the circus song in my head. The da 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 da. That song, yeah, that's what I want to do in my head. All the time. It's probably the theme song of my life. Okay. Last but not least, uh-oh. See this? This says pepperoncinis. What did I plant here? I planted sweet peppers. So we're gonna go like this and like this. And look, the problem resolved itself. I won't have as many pepperoncini plants, but that's okay. I'm sure 18 plants is gonna be enough, and I'm sure that I most likely will give some away. So there was only 25 seeds in that seed packet. So let's plant them all. And then when I get plants and I don't let them die, I will collect seed for next year. Crossing my fingers that I can do that. I'm sure I will be able to. And I'll bring you guys along the ride for that too, because that's kind of a fun process. I enjoy collecting seed and making sure that I have enough for, you know, years into the future. So, okay. Cover those bad boys up. And look at that. Another 72 count tray has been planted. Isn't that exciting? Now I will check these. You don't have to, obviously, but I get super excited about my seeds, and I will check these probably every hour until they germinate. And then when I do see germination on these, then I will be like a proud plant parent and want to watch it grow. So you can call me weird, but it's pretty exciting to see growth. Last but not least. So I have 72 count trays. I have 2 more sitting on the ground. I have a lot of tomatoes. A lot. I don't know. I might as well. We'll do 3 rows of each variety. I have how many varieties here? Let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8 varieties. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll get 2 trays of tomatoes. And that will be plenty of tomato plants. I most likely will be giving away tomatoes again this year. So, but it's fun. It's always fun to grow them. And if I have the space and if I have the cells in my 72 count tray, why not? Make someone happy. Maybe I'll do trades and see if other people have varieties that I don't, and then we can go from there. That would be fun. So, beef steak. What else do I have here? There's the red cherry right there. And let's do the green grape. You know, it really doesn't matter what I'm planting in these. I'm just kind of being funny and having a good time. Let's do pork chop right there. Mainly, it's whatever I see first in the pile and what I have. Actually, let's go to red tag. Let's have some fun with this. Let's go the old German, and then we'll have white tags on this. Okay, so that's my plan for this tray. I believe the tomatoes need to be planted. That one's a quarter. These don't say. And an eighth. That's interesting. Okay, so we'll do quarter and then an eighth. So I don't mess up. Ooh. Needs more dirt in that some. There we go. That's kind of the good thing about starting, you know, some unique varieties like the pork chop and the orange accordion is that not everyone's growing them, and so, you know, you can do a little bit of a plant swap. You know, maybe not a tomato that you swap for, but maybe you swap for something different. You know, a flower or another kind of vegetable. Possibilities are endless. And again, even though I sow these a little thickly, like the other tomatoes, I'm going to try and tease them apart and save the plants instead of just plucking them out. I'm going to see what that does. So even in these little trays, you know, you can have some fun. Those corners just, they just get you every time. At least they do me. I don't know about you guys. Okay. Red cherries, deliciously sweet, bite-sized red tomatoes can be used in salads or served on toothpicks as appetizers. We also like to can these or dehydrate them. It's just like a sun-dried tomato, so they're pretty yummy. And quite a bit more seed in this packet. So I might not do all of them. We'll save some for next year. Maybe. I'm going really thick, apparently. And unfortunately, you know, it's fallen out of my hand pretty thick, a little thicker than I was hoping to do because I wanted to save these seeds, which I still have quite a few to save. But once those seeds touch the soil, I don't want to pick them. I can pick them up and put them in a new cell, but I don't want to pick them up and put them back into that seed packet. You know, they've touched moisture, and it will ruin at least the seeds that touched the soil, if not more seeds in the packet. So don't, you know, if you by chance do have seed that touches the soil that you didn't want to sow all of those seeds in that area, try and pick up those seeds and put them in a different cell. Don't put them back in that packet. Okay, there's 25 seeds of this one, and it's an indeterminate. This variety has a rich combination of sweet and spicy flavors, extremely productive with heavy yields of lime green fruit, high in calcium and vitamin C, disease and heat resistant. Look at these seeds. Those are a little different. Okay, I think, yeah, see, there's one right there. I don't know. We might have a green grape coming up with our beef steaks. So I will try and save seed from these as well, because Only 25 seeds came in a packet and they are very tiny. So I'm pretty sure that I lost some. But I would like to probably, we'll see if I want to grow them next year. If I want to grow them, then I will do my best to save seed. Okay. And then tuck these guys away and they are ready to go. Last but not least, the orange accordion. 80 days, massive ruffle tomato and high voltage orange color, packed with nutrition and sweet fruity flavor, deeply lobed with a few seeds and juicy meaty flesh, amazing for sauce and slicing, easily reach 20 ounces each. It's a perfect stuffing tomato. Honestly, I bought them because they look cool. Oh wow. Minimum of 10 seeds. Okay, and when they say minimum, it's like right there. So we're gonna go one per cell and try and make it all the way across. If we don't, not a big deal. So these are an heirloom. I'm going to try and save seed from these ones because I think they look cool and I didn't get a lot of seed. So there we go. One tray of tomatoes down, one more to go. Okay, last but not least, guess what? I mislabeled again. I put the orange accordion in the old German label. So I made that correction. And we're going to do the same. 3 rows. So there's the old German, black Tula, black cherry, and pork chop. Okay. These ones. Indeterminate. These massive bicolored tomatoes produce jaw-dropping 2-pound tomatoes larger than salad plates in diameter. Flavor is more tomatoey than other varieties of the same color, and this means a tiny bit more acid content, which results in a slightly longer shelf life. Great for slicing and even ketchup. Ooh, we might have to try our hand at making ketchup this year. Okay. So let's go a quarter again. I think the accordions were the only ones that called for the 1/8. So I'm going to just go with it and do a quarter all throughout this tray. And if I have to fill in, I'll backfill with some dirt. Okay. There's not a lot of these seeds, so I'm going to be doing about 1 per cell. And like the other ones, I'm going to try and save seed so that I have some next year. Cover those little guys up. Okay, old Germans are done. Next one is the Black Tula. Black from Tula tomato. These are indeterminate. This tomato is deep burgundy green in color with a flattened globe shape. Grown for slicing with its low acidity and sweetness, yields tomatoes that weigh up to 1 pound each. Ideal for juicing or canning. In hotter climates, this variety can have a slightly smoky flavor. Steak for best airflow. Okay. So same here, I'm sewing kind of thickly, and I will break these apart and plant, when I up pot them, I'll plant them in separate containers instead of thinning out and losing plants. So we'll tuck these guys in nice and tight. Okay. Maybe fill in with some dirt over here. Okay, I think those are good. Let's move on to the pork chop. Let's see. Minimum of 25 seeds, a true yellow tomato bred by Brad Gates. The medium-sized, slightly flattened beef steaks have sweet tomato flavor with hints of citrus. That'll be interesting. This does have significantly more seeds than that accordion tomato that I also got from Baker Creek. They will tell you on the website as well how many, minimum seeds that come in a packet, so you should look at that before you buy seeds as well. Just so that you're not shocked when you open up the package. Some of these more rare varieties, you don't get as many seeds in the packet. So, just so that you're aware of that. Okay, we're going to cover those ones up. Okay, pork chops are done. Black cherry. It's an indeterminate and unbelievably sweet tomato with low acidity. The tomatoes are on average 1 ounce and can be expected to yield several pounds per plant. A deep, dark purple burgundy color with a unique flavor. Vines are vigorous, so we recommend using a tall cage to support them. I'll show you what I use for trellising system, when we go to plant these out. It's pretty slick and it doesn't require a cage. So there's the Tula seed, or the black cherry. I already planted the Tula. So again, I don't have a lot, so I'm going to try and spread these out across the whole tray. Do about 1 per cell, maybe 2. I'm going to try and remember to save seeds from all of these unique varieties for next year. It's never fun just growing the plant once, right? Gotta have some fun. Grow them year after year. There's 2 of this one's cool. So again, like I said before, if you're gonna pull seeds out of a cell, you want to transplant them into another cell. And I think that's what I'm gonna get. So I think I'm down maybe 2. We'll cover it up and see what we get. So all the vegetables that I plan on starting indoors, I've started here tonight. So the rest of my vegetables, I plan on sowing those outdoors when the temperature warms up enough for me to direct sow those. I probably will look through my little container again and just make sure that I don't want to do anything else. A lot of my stuff that I have needs to be directly sown. So, you know, you can start pumpkins and cucumbers, peas, that kind of stuff indoors. I just prefer to start it out because that's one less thing that I have in my grow room or under, you know, my lights on my grow light setup. Um, you know, I'm even tooling with the idea of not starting flowers. I have some stuff that I will start, my dahlias, and I have some eryngium and ferns and stuff like that that I'm going to start. But the zinnias and those types of flowers, I I'm debating on whether or not I want to start those. I've heard and I've read somewhere that they don't necessarily like to be transplanted. They don't like their roots to be messed with. So, you know, if I'm in the mood and I want to start planting and this isn't overwhelming, I might start those. I might not. You know, I have a lot to start with, lavender, salvia, snapdragons, stuff like that. So I think I'll have enough to start without starting those. And I can just direct sow those and let them grow from the garden. So the 2021 gardening year is starting to shape up, though. I'm pretty excited for it. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!